Hey, recruits. Alrighty, we are going to be doing uh, Star Trek Resurgence today. I have not played any of this yet. I've had it for a little bit. Figured I'd take a chance this afternoon and give it a shot. It's decision kind of making game, from what I can tell. But Star Trek, so always interesting. So we're going to see where our decisions will take us in the final frontier. Let me get us over there. Hey everybody! So as you can see, I have added an authentic-ish comm badge to my outfit today. Because I figured in theme. I don't have I am out of uniform. If I were in Starfleet, but I just added the comm badge, for that little flair. So we're menu screen. We get our data pads and tricorder. Going on is some kind of like nebula and storm. It looks like the ship is at warp. But let's go ahead and get started. You see, no save slots yet. Let's begin. Ooh, Dramatic Labs Adventure. So choices we make will change how people think about us, probably whether or not they are even in the scene. So if I dig this game, I will probably end up making a like a Lacars themed overlay.
Stardate 57931.4. The crew is restless. After spending too many months piecing our ship back together, we're finally about to venture out on a new mission.
There's been some trouble.
And the crew isn't letting this unprecedented ion storm slow them down.
It's always an ion storm.
We're ready for something different. I know I am. Perhaps more than any of them. Fortunately, nothing ever stays the same. It's entropy, the nature of the universe. Change is inevitable.
True.
And while entropy says order gives way to chaos, in this case, change is good.
I'd do like maybe a starbase or a shipyard where they were doing repairs.
Our new first officer is en route to the Resolute. Jara Rydek. I know she'll bring a welcome dose of new blood to the crew.
I hadn't picked up my controller. I forgot it was plugged in. I was expecting the keyboard commands.
I'm not great with flying. But these little shuttles are the worst.
Stick around in Starfleet and you'll be sure to see worse than this. I have.
And you're here to talk about it.
In the flesh.
That's good.
So we don't have a lot of things. Ooh, are you impacted by what we said? Hopefully for the better. We don't seem to have a lot of time to make our decisions, so...
Sorry, I'm a little anxious.
I hadn't noticed.
I'm on my way to my first assignment. When we get to the starbase, I'm transferring on to the Resolute.
Oh, me too.
So
How
am I.
convenient.
It won't be easy for Jara to step in at the 11th hour like this. But if she's half the officer I knew she could become when she was a cadet at Starfleet Academy, she'll be the XO this ship needs right now.
Or our captain knew us at the academy, of course. Of course. But there's an XO, like a XO position open. That means maybe perhaps something happened to the existing commander. Yeah. They're number 2, if you will. Change of station. can get episode titles. Very next gen. Check in as secure. Okay, so we are going to move around. Let me go sneak back. Oh, no, can't go back into the shuttle.
A starbase on the very edge of Federation space. Long way from home now.
So we are deep in it. Edge of Federation space. Which edge, though?
Commander? I'm not usually such a nervous wreck, by the way. I actually did well at the Academy.
Oh yeah?
Maybe you've heard of the Torvalen test?
Sounds familiar.
It's a tactical simulator that makes the Kobayashi Maru look like a picnic on Pintaris 5.
Really?
Anyway, I finished in the top 20. Not just in my class. I mean, all time. In the history of the Academy. So...
Well, congratulate him. Congratulate.
Really? That's quite impressive.
Thank you. It was tough. But you know, I set my mind to it and it paid off.
Try to make friends with as many crew members as possible. No reason to be a jerky commander, I guess.
Seconds.
At least not on the first playthrough. We're gonna... Oh, hand scan. Jara Rydek.
Welcome, Commander Rydek.
Wait, you're Jara Rydek? You absolutely crushed the Torvalen test. You finished in what, like the top 3?
That would be me.
Now I'm really... It's an honor to meet you, Commander. Sorry, I didn't realize before. I just came off the shuttle and was glad to be on solid ground.
The pleasure is mine, Ensign.
Paul Calloway.
Good to meet you.
I believe Commander Ermot is expecting you. He's in the concourse just ahead.
Play that off with some humility. No need to be like snooty. Find Commander Umont. Oop, they activated a force field. Can't go back. Cars map. Check-in station there. So we just got a hallway to the elevator.
Good day, Commander.
Good day, good day. Oh, that is the Resolute. Storm report. Ionic storm. Oh. No way to zoom in. I was hoping to take a look at the other ships that were coming in. Hey, Jayburn. How you doing? I'm hoping you can hear me. I haven't had a chance to check my audio yet, but yes, yeah, press can. Yeah. Well, you know, Lem really likes it. I dig the look of it watching her play. So, so I don't have a problem with it. They were looking for a reason to get me to do it, so that was kind of the challenge.
So I'm looking for someone with blue skin.
Message got eaten by slow-mo. Yeah, sorry about that. I'm doing good. I get it's almost noon here, so just doing a little bit of gaming in the afternoon. Lost crewman.
Are you
Trigger
alright?
Yeah, I'm just... Well, I'm not sure where my departure dock is. The Resolute's gonna leave without me.
Look here. The Resolute is leaving from this dock.
Ah, you're right. Nerves must be getting to me.
I mean, Starbase map has to be a little more complicated than your average airport map, but I'm pretty sure that in Star Trek time you can just ask the computer and it'll give you lights to tell you where you're going to go, but you know. I mean, I feel like so far they got the look of the
Starbase 128 has 4 docks.
next gen DS9. Check out the food. Replicated meal. That's the one thing other than like teleporters I would really dig to have rather than having to. I'd probably still be the guy that cooked his meals, but like replicate the ingredients to save me time on the shopping. Commander Irma. Oh, he's the guy I'm looking for.
Welcome to the edge of the galaxy, Commander Rydek. I'm Commander Jan Irmat, Operations Officer on the Resolute. Commander? I hope there wasn't too much trouble getting here. This storm isn't making anything easy for us right now. I know conditions are less than ideal at the moment.
It takes more than a little turbulence to rattle me.
I'm sure that's the case. We're grateful you were able to come fill our first officer vacancy at such short notice. From everything I've read and everything I've heard, we're lucky you were available to us. Coming from a premier starship and all. To our little research vessel.
What exactly have you heard about me?
First in your class at the Academy. Received the Starfleet Award of Valor during the Dominion War. Most recently, Tactical Officer and Chief of Security on the USS Endeavor.
You've done your homework?
Like I said, we're very lucky.
Can't be that much homework. That's gonna be like just the first page of the for like of her file.
The USS Resolute. She may not look like much compared to the bigger ships, but as far as science vessels go, she can more than hold her own. And she doesn't look so bad considering 6 months ago she was nearly cracked in half, venting plasma, fighting for her life.
It was an accident?
Equipment malfunction. An accident suggests
Yeah,
fault,
yeah,
but
basically.
no one's to blame.
Your homework. Prototype their name into ChatGPT and
core was pushed beyond its limits.
click the Wikipedia link. Yeah.
It destabilized the dilithium, there was a runaway reaction, and the warp bubble deformed. We thought we could reach a higher resonant frequency, but it was more than she could handle. Cost us our first officer and 22 of our crew.
Ouch.
At the end of the day, we're all responsible for each other. That's what it means to be a crew.
I can't even begin to imagine what that must have been like for you. I'm so sorry for your loss.
Thank you. It does weigh heavy. There are some things you can't forget.
Did you lose anyone close to you?
Too many. And to that I'll just say, you have big shoes to fill. Listen.
Well, I got big
I
feet, so
realize
that's
you've
good.
known Captain Solano for quite some time, and I'm sure you're ready to bring your best. But I should warn you that when the captain announced you would be the new first officer, there were those who felt it was a mistake, that he should have promoted from within. So you might want to tread lightly at first. Until they come to value your contributions as much as
Thank
he
you.
does.
Good point.
Thank you. Always good to have a sense for what you're walking into.
I just thought you ought to know.
I appreciate it.
Starfleet
It'd be
is a
too easy if
high
everybody just
priority
liked me
mission
from the
for
beginning,
Bob.
wouldn't it? What do we got for... Alright, so this is the people we've met so far. Oh, so we're going to have 2 main characters. Modes. Also, there will be some combat. We get some shooting, some stealth. Scan stuff for our puzzles. Maybe some piloting. Selecting targets for the transporter. I guess we can save Tim Allen if the aliens are chanting Grognak. Press L to run. Well, it wasn't working down the hallway, but maybe it'll work now that we got a little bit more
Let the
control.
captain brief you on board. I know he's eager to see you.
Will we be mission ready in time?
We have every intention. The crew has been working around the clock to get the ship ready. There's still so much to do.
I would really hope that, like, crew as in, like, a whole, not like individuals are working around the clock, because I want my crew in shape, not exhausted. Oh, this is our other guy. Dude, clearly there's a giant thing of corrosion there.
I got just the thing.
Find the plasma torch. It's a hyper spanner. Coil spanner. It's got a lot of different kinds of wrenches in the future. Well, there's the plasma torch. Okay. Little mini games. Closer to the center, the faster it goes. Faster it goes. I mean, I don't know why he didn't, like, just do this from the... Why even try to turn the handle? Got like a little heavy rain gameplay style here. We're gonna make me rotate it back. There we go.
Is that?
Oh, you are so proud of yourself. So proud of like. Bro, chip some rust and change the battery. Love those sound effects.
I thought the thing was totally fried.
Yes, that's why I replaced it.
Nice work, Carter.
Nothing to it, Neely.
And not a moment too soon. The boss wants us down in engineering. Like, now.
Can I explore here first?
Corrosion in there was pretty extreme. Nothing I couldn't handle, though.
Diaz, you're in my light.
Oh, sorry.
Come on.
Oh, all right. Interesting sideways run you got there. Ooh, what do we get? Oh, let me go. I'll put these away.
Carter Diaz.
Nobody asked me to, but no, we'll do it.
Oh, these are...
Yeah, he thinks he's the best when everyone else thinks a snail could repair faster. Yeah.
You're welcome.
Hurry up.
So clean I can see myself.
Oh,
You know what? Not half bad.
you cannot see yourself clearly in a curved mirror, my dude. That's why they use them in fun houses. This can't be
Let
safe.
LT catch you blocking the corridors like this.
Exactly, that's what I'm
We'll clear it out
saying.
once we finish the delicate work. Good looking out, though.
Good to see her fully operational
Time's a
again.
wasting.
And if she breaks, we'll just fix her.
That is your job as an engineer. If the ship breaks, you fix it.
Tubes behind cargo storage all the way to the turbo lift.
Not after the retrofit. Bulkhead cuts it off at Section 2. New computer reroutes.
So then...
I'm thinking we'll have to do the work in that tube, then take the turbo lift from Section 2 to Section 3.
Well, wait, there's a subfloor crossover around Junction 32E.
What do you have against using the turbo lift?
Nothing, I just like being in the tubes. It's my domain.
Its domain is in the tubes. Interesting.
Engineering.
I heard the new XO just arrived. Won't be long before we get underway.
Oh, so she's a trill.
Chovok called us down for it something good. I can never tell with him. I'd rather not end up degaussing plasma manifolds. Hanging upside down makes me queasy.
You and me working together, we can tackle anything he throws at us.
Your optimism is positively contagious.
I wonder if she's already got a symbiote or is, like in training.
Looks like we got here before.
Lieutenant Commander Chovak.
Pretty sure that's not where that goes.
We were just looking for you, Commander.
Petty Officers Ed Solar, Diaz. I was beginning to think you would be late.
Nah.
We are all hands on deck right now, which means if you are not at your post at the appointed time, I do not have someone to replace you. A point I have been forced to make to Petty Officer Edsolar on repeated occasions.
So you're saying we're irreplaceable, Commander?
That is one interpretation. Another would be that I would replace you if I could. You can interpret as you see fit.
So, I don't suppose you wanted us down here to check in before we go off duty?
He didn't like my sense of humor.
Equip yourselves in EV suits to work on the exterior of the hull. I need you to tune the structural integrity field for optimal performance. The subspace distortions and ionic interference we are experiencing are preventing the proper calibration. But this ship must be ready to depart shortly, despite the storm. The precise nature of these disturbances are not fully understood. But many systems have been affected by the wide band of emissive activity.
Be ready. I wouldn't want to tell a Vulcan he sounded worried. That just seems like an insult.
I am a Vulcan, Mr. Diaz. Flattery is not necessary. All that I require is that you do your job. Right now, that entails critical preparations, because long-range sensors show that these disturbances will be more severe at our destination, the Hotari system. You have your orders. Do not delay.
Yes, Commander Chovak.
Guess maybe a compliment's less of an insult than
What's that?
All hands on deck. That's what Chovak said. You know what that means? It means this ship isn't ready to go out and the brass know it. So they're throwing every warm body at it. And they're going to leave on schedule.
on us now.
Be damned.
It all comes down to us, Nelly. We're the ones who will get it ready.
I know what we can do. But this isn't just any old refit or any old relaunch.
Oh, whoa. Excuse me.
A lot of new faces coming on board. It's gotta be tough coming as a replacement. That's for sure.
I'm gonna give him a chance.
They seem alright. Something that happened 6 months ago while they were off on another ship? Well, that's nothing to hold against them.
Yeah, you're right. I guess getting a little new blood on board doesn't hurt. Hold on. Now there's an old face I didn't expect to see again. Hey, Miranda!
You weren't gonna leave without me, were you?
Miranda, you're here?
We thought you were staying on the Adirondack.
Transfer came in at the last minute, so I figured I'd slum it on this bucket of bolts. Looks like you got her back together pretty nicely. I wasn't sure what to expect.
Don't talk badly about one of the best ships in all of Starfleet.
We've rebuilt enough of her.
All engineers are proud of their ship.
We'll see about that. But I am glad to be here. He still owes me a bottle of Saurian brandy. Don't think I forgot.
Oh yeah, it's coming back to me now.
Maybe Carter can rustle up that bottle and we can give you a proper welcome. As soon as we wrap up this quick little spacewalk.
Here, let me help you.
Thanks.
So what's the word? Are you back in the security rotation?
Yep. Still running with the usual suspects.
Whoa.
She was looking at him a little too intently.
See you on the other side.
Activating magnetic souls.
It's gonna be a little trippy.
That view never gets old.
Let's go.
Just a little reminder that there's no up in space. I wonder how many signatures are on the hull plating at the bow of the ship. All hands.
Captain Solano should be here momentarily. You'll have to forgive me, I don't know much about Kobleods. But my understanding is you need a steady supply of duridium to keep your cell structure stabilized, or bad things start to happen. And we have plenty of duridium in sickbay, so there's no risk of running out.
Thank you.
Ah, we've got one of those little, like, aura
Help yourself
rings.
at home. And help yourself to whatever you like from the replicator.
Whatever I like, huh? Should we really be snooping around the captain's, Ooh, got a model train? Yeah, we're gonna snoop around.
He's still got a thing for trains.
Trains are cool.
Warp engines of their day, apparently.
Well, maybe not that one, but, you know. In terms of being a warp engine, it's...
I can't believe he keeps this around. Don't even know where mine is.
Gotta know where your diploma is. Library, computer access, and retrieval system. Look cars. Use replicator. What are we gonna order?
Something.
Frappuccino, tea, or coffee?
Decisions.
We'll have the coffee.
Coffee.
No cream, no sugar?
Perfect temperature. Don't know how they do it.
One sip. One sip of coffee. At least the future's not wasteful.
Last time I saw you, it was graduation from the academy. You'd already secured one of the most prestigious assignments possible. And you were burning with enough ambition to fuel 7 trips around the Necrid Expanse.
It's good to see you again, Captain.
I could not be happier to have you on the Resolute. My only regret is that we couldn't provide you with a warmer welcome. The arrival of a first officer to her new ship deserves a bit of fanfare.
Nah.
But, unfortunately, we've had our hands full.
We're still playing the polite playthrough. No.
That would be totally unnecessary. I don't need any pomp and circumstance.
You've been here all of 5 minutes, and already you're trying to make us more efficient. I like it. As I'm sure you've heard, we've had a rough go of it these last 6 months. The ship suffered some damage, but not nearly as much as the crew.
You'll have to forgive me. I don't really know the details.
Starfleet has been kind enough to keep the story contained. Probably because they want to protect me. But I don't mind telling you. We were on the verge of a major scientific breakthrough. A quantum leap forward in warp core technology. 10,000 teradynes per second. The ability to travel at a sustained rate of speed longer and faster than we ever dreamed. What would have been the crowning achievement of my career?
Too big of a leap.
Within our grasp.
Too fast. Always causes a problem.
Until it all went so horribly wrong. We pushed her too hard, and a warp core malfunction overloaded the system, creating a pressure gradient way beyond what the ship can handle.
Didn't eject the warp core?
We lost some of our best people. As captain, I have to take full responsibility. It was my decision to make, and I have to live with the consequences.
Hey, Budweiser. Thanks for the follow, man.
You're being too hard on yourself. It wasn't your fault.
It's not a question of blame. It's about responsibility. No matter what the circumstances. In my defense, I will say, I might have avoided the whole ordeal if my senior staff had been willing to trust me. There was a lot of pushback from my former XO, and I think that cost me his confidence. I don't want you to pull any punches. Certainly not on my account. But once we decide on a course of action, I need everyone to fully commit to the mission. Anything short of that just won't work. And that's when things start to go sideways.
Make some tough decisions down the road, Curly. But for now we'll just, you're the captain.
This is your ship, and you are the captain. So as far as I'm concerned, whatever you say goes.
That's the kind of support I'm looking for. Look, I'll be blunt. We can't afford another mistake.
Until you pull out your phaser and start pointing it at like ensigns.
I feel like my career is hanging in the balance here.
At that point, we might have some words.
We need a win. Something to restore the crew's confidence.
I understand.
On a more positive note, Starfleet has tasked us with what they're calling a mission of the highest priority. Escorting a senior diplomat to Hotari space. Two previously peaceful and otherwise
Halfway through your first playthrough, already considering a mirror world run of ruthless decisions? Absolutely. I was like, but I was also thinking like that's definitely going to be like a second or third playthrough. I play a nicety nice, on this one just to make friends. It's the Federation in the future. Play the hopeful path.
And you'll never guess where it leads.
Hotari.
Exactly. Very nearly in the precise location where we're headed. Where I imagine the interference will be exponentially greater. But the diplomat will brief us on the details at the rendezvous.
Who is the senior diplomat we're escorting?
That I don't know. Starfleet hasn't said. But I don't want to get ahead of myself. I expect we'll have some rough sledding when we arrive, so I need you to prepare the crew for the worst. There's just one more thing I want to clarify up front. The metric that for me will be the ultimate measure of your success.
What is it?
If after serving as my first officer, you don't one day find yourself with a ship of your own, then I will consider it my personal failure. When that might happen is entirely up to you. But it goes without saying. You have my full support.
Be humble.
Thank you. But I feel like I still have so much to learn.
You'll have plenty of opportunity. And if you're willing to put in the work, I'll do everything in my power to help you along the way. Come, let me introduce you to the crew.
Captain Solano was reassured by Jara's modesty and leadership potential after their first meeting. We've made some good first impressions. Commander Chovak found Carter to be cheeky and cavalier. Yeah, I was kind of, was playing a hotshot engineer, so, playful. But that's why she was staring so hard at the back of my helmet. Yeah, no, I know you went to the bridge, but we're going to look around first. Probably not going to let me go anywhere. It keeps telling me that, like, left click to run, but it's definitely not letting me run anywhere. This walk is so crawl. That's a decent looking bridge.
If I could have your attention for a moment. I'd like to introduce Commander Jara Rydek, our new first officer.
No applause. No applause, please. Please, no applause.
Quick introduction.
Thank you.
This is Lieutenant Handar, our helmsman, one of the best in the business.
One of?
Well, what he lacks in humility, he more than makes up for in ability.
Definitely a cocky Bajoran pilot.
Next, we have Commander Westbrook, our Chief Science Officer. I've come to rely on his expert counsel on a regular basis.
Pleasure.
Not a Vulcan.
Commander Rydek, it is such an honor to meet you.
This is our tactical officer, Lieutenant Bedrosian, who's been looking forward to meeting you for about as long as I can remember.
I've been following your career for quite some time.
Shift to run, but on the quarters, yeah.
As much as I can from you.
Gonna be nice. Shift to run. Yeah, I'm on a controller. It's supposed to be click the left stick, but it makes sense no running in the corridors.
Because of what you've overcome. Starfleet stands up for people who can't defend themselves. And you were one of those people once. But since then, you've done so much to protect others who need it. I really admire that. So, you've been something of an inspiration to me. Not that I've done anything close to what you've done, but you definitely set a standard to strive for.
That's very kind of you to say, but enough about me. We have a lot of work to do.
Oh, yes, of course.
She really wanted to talk about me a little bit longer.
And then, of course, you've already met Commander Ermont. Please do everything you can to make Commander Rydek feel at home here. I'll be on the starbase. I have an urgent meeting with the starbase commander to get our authorization to get underway. If they drag their feet any longer, we won't make.
Don't leave the ship while we're still in dock, Captain. That's.
Is yours.
Have you not watched an episode of Star Trek?
Tactical station. Hopefully a diplomatic mission won't require we use our weapons much. But if it comes to that, we'll be ready.
We're also a science vessel, so those weapons aren't going to be, like, super strong.
So many decks. Full of crew that are now my responsibility.
What, like 9, maybe 10 decks?
The helm. The Resolute is a refitted Centaur class, meaning it's capable.
I was hoping for like the Riker over the shoulder, put his hand on the console. Oh, okay, we can run on the bridge, but we can't run in the hallways. Okay.
Impressive range of view. Operations. Staffing, supplies. There's a lot to keep track of on a starship. Good thing we have Commander Ermont.
Communications.
Keeps us in contact internally and with other vessels.
Tactical hollow.
Tactical hollow dais. Just like they've got on the Excelsior.
Yeah, that Sulu would have used as a tea table.
The first officer seat. My seat. Right now, though, I need to fill in for Captain Solano.
No built-in console, no buttons for the XL. They're only on the captain's chair.
Commander, Chief Engineer Chovak needs to lower the structural integrity field. He's sent a crew out to recalibrate the emitters in response to the danger posed by the storm. We just need your go-ahead.
Permission granted.
Lowering structural integrity field, now.
Entering maintenance mode. Condition blue.
The storm is
Storm surge. Yep.
Looks like they turned off the SIF.
Great. Let's get to that emitter. Every time we're out here, I half expect to see her in pieces again.
She's still got some scars on her. It adds character.
When I joined Starfleet, all I wanted was a ride out of town. But this isn't exactly how I pictured it.
On the outside of the ship?
No.
I wouldn't have expected to be on the outside of the ship either in
Part of
space, but
machinery. Don't you want more than that? I mean,
yeah,
Starfleet
what could
is
possibly go
overall,
wrong?
But it's still a machine. A massive, massive machine.
I am more than that. And so are you. You wanted to get away. I enlisted because I didn't want to wait years just to get out and see the galaxy. I wanted to go somewhere. See new worlds. Look up at a sky no one's ever seen before. Just because I'm cranking a hyperspanner up in a Jeffries tube today doesn't mean that's all I'll ever be. Diaz to Commander Chovak.
Has to be other ways to do that.
SIF emitter.
Acknowledged. You may proceed with the recalibration.
Fancy looking toolbox. Pick up. I mean, at least it's simply called the calibration tool. Looks more like a TSA wand.
Calibration.
Turn the nodes to center the circuit.
Careful. Too much action and harmonics will deflect the alignment.
Looks good. That wasn't so hard.
Commander Westbrook, right? Chief Science Officer.
You remembered my name and my rank. Impressive.
He was up for the promotion.
Yes, I'm the Chief Science Officer, and I have the dubious honor of being the most senior officer on this bridge. I know this ship inside and out. Better than just about anyone.
What a very impressive list of credentials.
This is a research and discovery ship, first and foremost. Now with a former tactical officer as its new first officer. I'm curious, though. A Kobliad, or half in your case, is an odd choice for first officer, given your vulnerable condition and all. But if, as an example, we found ourselves in a hostile situation, and you were suddenly incapacitated because you needed an infusion, what would happen then? You'd would leave Captain Solano without an XO.
Well, there is a chain of command,
but not outside the realm of possibility.
That's very kind of you to be concerned about my well-being. But you don't need to trouble yourself on my account. I'll be fine.
Well, I wouldn't say I was concerned, just curious, that's all. Listen,
I'll give him the polite sass.
Commander.
I see no reason to stop now.
Commander Sutherland, your predecessor, was one of the best first officers in all of Starfleet. His record was impeccable and his reputation was without equal. I mean no disrespect, but the shoes you're stepping into are almost impossible.
You mean disrespect.
He was loved by the crew. And he was one of my closest friends. So I can only hope that you'll live up to expectations.
I don't think I could ever replace Commander Sutherland. And it would be a mistake to even try.
Oh, he liked that answer. He smiled a little bit.
Starbase. Let me give you an update on this ion storm we're flying into. It's unusual, unlike anything I've ever seen. At the moment, I can't tell you if the Resolute will shrug it off or if we're putting ourselves at risk. However, if we learn more about its patterns, its nature,
another blinky light. It's not good.
Countermeasure. Just a moment.
This is why I told the captain not to go onto the starbase while we were at dock.
We've got a massive energy wave inbound.
On screen.
It looks like the Nexus.
Tracing its trajectory.
Starbase docking clamps are holding.
The storm's emissions are fluctuating, coming in waves. And if my projections are right, we're about to get hit by a wide-band burst of ionic energy, like a tsunami.
I'm reading power abnormalities all over the ship.
Red alert.
Aye. Evacuating main gangway and retracting.
Putting sensor visualization on screen.
With the structural integrity field shut down, we can't take a direct hit.
Emergency beam the captain back to the ship and then raise the shields. Come on.
We have limited protection.
I need every available solution. What are our options?
We can weaken the impact of the storm with a deflector pulse.
There's a better way.
I'm sending all auxiliary power to the deflector dish.
Send the aux power to the shields. We can't reactivate the entire shield bubble, but it's a directional threat. So we can orient all we have towards the wave. You have to believe me.
We only get one shot at this. We can't afford to get it wrong.
That's right, which is why we need to send power to our shields.
We'll go shields. We'll go shields.
Petrosian, get those shields up.
Rerouting power to shields.
Oh, he didn't like that, but she did.
We've only got one shot.
Understood. On my command.
Heading locked.
Raise shields.
This is it!
All hands, brace for impact.
What happened?
We have experienced a surge of radiation.
Oh, you don't say.
This radiation supercharged the plasma, forcing it to backflush through the system and creating a dangerous imbalance.
That can blow out every primary system on the ship.
Just tell us where you need us.
I need you to traverse the hull to the access port to recalibrate the port nacelle plasma regulator.
Well, that's a long way to go on foot. Oh, good. We're there already.
We've reached the first access point.
Understood. Do you see the override for the level 1 failsafe?
It's a commercial cut.
Affirmative.
Engage the override. It should allow us to stop the EPS flow to the warp engine without triggering an automatic core shutdown.
Failsafe override engaged.
Are you sure? I am registering some crosstalk in the bypass circuit.
We need to route the signals so they don't interfere with each other.
Always good to override the safety features.
Diaz to Resolute. The failsafes are temporarily disabled. Moving on to the EPS regulator.
Heads up, Carter.
What is that?
One of the discharges coalesced.
It's coming right toward us. I'm gonna try to disrupt it with my phaser.
So we gotta climb up the pylon. Not that there's really an up, but, you know.
Use your phaser to clear a path. Can't run in mag boots. Okay. What? Where was that one?
You alright?
Yeah. Suit took most of it. Just snuck up on me.
That damaged your suit. Energy dampening is down to 60%.
Wasn't expecting one to pop up behind me. What?
Carter!
That hurt.
Do not get hit again.
Well, I didn't exactly walk into it.
We're almost to the regulator.
We're at the regulator point. Opening the access panel.
I am now halting the EPS flow to the port nacelle. We have little time before it causes an overload in the engine. You must work efficiently.
EPS manifold adjusters reset to neutral. EPS lines to the port warp engine are back in balance. Almost done. Once I cycle the manifold nozzles, Chovak can...
Nobody on the starbase was worried about that bit, like...
Get down! Diaz to bridge. We just lost the docking clamp. We've got a lot of debris coming down. All vibrations, too. We can't finish the EPS regulation in these conditions. Please advise.
We have to release the ship from that other docking clamp or the hull will be ripped apart.
There's a problem. The clamps are supposed to disengage automatically in an emergency, but it's not working.
Not working. What are our options?
The docking clamps are fitted with exploding bolts for an emergency release.
We've got crew out there. That'd be like setting off a bomb next to them.
Maybe there's another way.
Starbase is hailing us.
Put them through.
Resolute, the remaining mooring arm is failing. You need to disengage from the starbase now. The damage to the station will be catastrophic.
We have crew outside and are looking for the
We have
safest
people
way
on this station. If that mooring arm breaks, we could lose dozens of crew.
Commander, hear me out. Reverse the polarity of the hull. which theoretically will repel the docking clamps.
And repel the engineering crew right off the hull into the storm.
This is Captain Solano. Put me on screen.
Go ahead. Captain, we have a situation.
Commander, what are you doing? Blow the bolts on the docking clamp.
The captain doesn't know the whole story.
I'm giving you an order. Jara?
Yes, sir. Disengaging the clamps.
They're gonna get hammered with debris out there.
The captain made himself quite clear.
Reverse the polarity.
There is protocol.
And there are lives.
We're going to blow the bolts. Starbase, stand by. We'll warn our crew to take cover.
Get it done, Rydek.
Repair crew, this is Acting Captain Jara Rydek. Be advised, you have more micro debris incoming. Find cover.
Neely! Get under the access panel. It's armored with duranium.
Oh, it's got a handle, just like a shield. That's nice.
Carter, maybe we can both fit behind this. They've blown the other docking clamp. Hurry!
Crank those mag boots up the mat. Put your foot flat on the deck plating. Better hold.
The plasma imbalance is reaching critical condition. We are moments from primary system failure.
I got it.
You have to throw your shield. That lever's clearly fully mechanical and not like cranked by wire, you know? Like
Look out!
I got you. Petty Officer Edselar's hurt and unconscious. I'm gonna have to tow her back to the airlock.
Mr. Diaz, the situation has changed. You are at risk of triggering a substantial electromagnetic arc if you approach the main hull the way you came.
But Commander, the way we came is the nearest airlock.
There is an auxiliary hatch near you on the far end of the pylon. You must bring Miss Edselar there to access the interior.
Roger that. Going there now.
uh-huh.
I'm at the auxiliary hatch.
At least she woke up at the right time, right?
You go first.
What?
Let me save your neck this time. No time to fight me on this. Get in there.
Not on your life.
Let's not let it come down to that. We made it.
the SIF fully online.
Do it.
Wonder how much it saved them, like in the pay by the word to say SIF instead of structural integrity field.
Really?
I'm good. Help me with him.
Let's get this off. Medical. Got one wounded at my location. Carter. You don't look so good. You gotta be more careful. I just got here. I'm not ready to see you two get blown to space dust just yet. Now let's get you down to sickbay.
Great.
Status report.
The repair crew made it inside. EPS flow is back to nominal levels. The SIF is back up.
How does this affect mission readiness, Mr. Ermot?
The Resolute suffered damage from the exploding bolts, but we've successfully moored to the station. The ship is secure. Our systems are coming back online, but we have a fair amount of repairs before we're ready to go.
Put a halt on the roll-off of Starbase engineering staff. We have a schedule to keep. Send updates to my ready room. Commander Rydek, with me.
Aye, sir. Yep.
What a debacle. I was caught with my pants down. Not even on my own ship when the wave hit. I had to go running out of the Starbase commander's office just to... But you followed my order. I appreciate that. Hell, I'm relieved.
You're the captain of this ship. You give orders, and I'll execute them.
That's right. But you see my problem, don't you? They were all against me on that bridge. And they were ready to go against my orders. I'm not blind to it.
I think you're wrong about that. You still have the respect of the crew, and we have bigger things to deal with. We have a high-priority mission ahead of us and a lot to do to get ready.
We're going to have a pretty big problem if I can't count on the bridge staff. To say nothing of the rank and file. Oh. Drink?
Sure. It's being offered by the captain. Technically, Starfleet's like always on duty, so maybe not technically, but command staff.
Thank you.
Your predecessor, Commander Sutherland, is missed. But for all the adoration of the crew, including the senior staff, I just couldn't rely on him. He would question, undermine me in front of the crew. I sometimes think they still hear his voice. That sort of thing as a way of lingering. And you can't argue with a ghost.
I'm not Commander Sutherland. I'm not saying we won't have our disagreements. In fact, I'm sure we will. But I'm also sure they will be different disagreements than you had in the past.
And perhaps that change will be enough. Now, this won't be easy. But I'm glad I have you here with me.
Glad to be here, Captain.
And despite it all, we got our final Starfleet clearance to depart. So if you'll fetch Mr. Ermot, we'll knock out the final details of any outstanding repairs, and then we'll set out for Hotari.
Yes, sir. On second thought, better to keep my wits about me.
Of course.
Of course, the captain's private stash would not be synthahol, it'd be real. All I ask is a tall ship. Maybe a star to steer her by, but you know. Grumble, grumble, grumble.
All departments reporting full mission readiness.
Lower decks in there, gossip.
We've got our full complement on board.
This is my favorite moment, right now.
The start of a new mission is always full of possibility.
The Orion Syndicate could sell it as a drug.
Don't let the Admiralty hear you say that.
Captain on the bridge.
Sit. Sit, everyone. You all know, I'm not big on speeches. We're embarking on the first mission since our refit. Let's make it a good one. Disengage docking clamps.
Wonder if that hollow tactical's got like a safety measure to make sure it doesn't raise up if somebody's actually standing on it.
Thrusters ahead, Mr. Handar.
They nailed the music too. Definitely feels more like music from like the TOS movies.
Prepare to go to Warp 8.
Aye, Captain.
You know what? You take this one.
Me?
Do it.
Helm. Do it.
Guess I do like Pike's, like, you know, punch it. That's it.
Nicely done.
Easy. Thank you. I'm fine. Really,
You don't look so good.
That Ironstorm take something out of us? Like, for real, for real?
I have to get to sickbay.
Go.
Commander, help me get her inside.
Does that thing not, like, vibrate? Like, you're like, hey, you're getting low? I mean, it's wearable tech, so it should have, like, a thing built into it to be like, hey, you know, you're not just like a flashy light or a...
Well, that was quite a scare. A few minutes more and it would have been one of the shortest tenures on record for a first officer.
Is that the engineer that was out on the hull?
That storm did a real number on him, but he'll live. Just needs rest. You should worry about yourself. Your deridium levels got dangerously low and destabilized your cell structure.
This is definitely one of the more memorable first days I can think of.
My name is Dr. Aram Duval, Chief Medical Officer. To be honest, I've never met a Kobliad before. You're...
rare. I know.
They not developed like an EpiPen for that yet? Like, seriously.
People's numbers have dwindled, despite the Federation's efforts to find a more readily available alternative to the deridium you need to survive. Yet you joined...
Oop, what paused? Why'd you pause?
To the Duridian
Oh, okay.
to survive. Yet you joined Starfleet and managed to thrive. I imagine the responsibility must be overwhelming. Maybe even a burden at times.
It's who I am.
I know what it means. And I know the responsibility that comes with it. But I can't be anything more than who I am. And if someone has a problem with that, or expects something else, then that's their problem, not mine.
That's exactly right. And don't worry, I won't treat you like a science experiment. I just do the science and leave the experiments to Solano.
You don't agree with his methods?
I don't agree with his definition of acceptable risks. Not when the lives of your crew are at stake. My professional opinion is that the accident took a toll. More than he's willing to admit. He's overstressed, operating in the pressure cooker of his own mind.
Little Archie has a blood sugar monitor on, but no insulin, chocolate bars. Exactly. I was just thinking, like, did they not have like an EpiPen for this, like, yet? Maybe her condition's just too rare.
The major innovation. Something he can put his name on. The more the time passes and the further out of reach it gets, the more risk he'll be willing to take. People become blinded by their own ambition.
I think after what happened, Captain Solano's learned his lesson. And whatever ambition he once had is on hold for a while.
He may say that, but we'll see what happens. I have to admit, I was concerned when I heard what happened over the bridge. You just followed Solano's orders despite having better options in front of you.
Huh. I guess word travels fast around here.
It's a small ship. And everyone's curious about the new XO. Fortunately, your cell structure's almost completely stabilized. And I'll spare us both the lecture, but I do feel it's my responsibility to remind you, without regular infusions of Duridium, you will not live. It's as simple as that.
Understood.
Then, my work here is done.
Lieutenant Bedrosian.
I came to see if you were okay. We were all pretty worried on the bridge. No one knew what was happening.
Yeah, that looked bad.
I can't even imagine what it must have looked like. I don't want people to get the wrong impression.
No, not at all. You don't have to feel embarrassed. Everyone understands this is part of what it means to be Kobliad. You trusted me earlier with the shields, and I appreciated that. I want you to know that I have your back.
Thank you.
I mean, I got like a blood sugar monitor that lives like plugged into my arm. And...
The emissions that gave you that burn are quite unusual, like everything else that goes with this storm.
Insulin and pens, you know.
Pyronolin and lectrazine to counter the radiation effects. That should help speed your healing. She's come by a couple of times to see you already.
Aww.
Be brief.
It's good to see you awake again. I was starting to get worried. Not that you aren't in good hands with Dr. Duvall. You did take one hell of a shot, though.
Ah, come on, you know you can't get rid of me that easy.
Don't push me, Diaz. You do not want to see me try.
No, nope. I am not getting on your bad side.
I am a formidable enemy. Millie was looking in on you too, by the way. But since it's just us right now, I had a chance to think about this while I was away. And I thought it was important that I just come out and tell you. Instead of tiptoeing around it. Or worse.
It's okay, Miranda. You can tell me anything.
I know that.
Then come on. Just spit it out.
I'm trying. Let me talk.
Shut up, dude.
What I'm trying to say is, we've been really good friends for a long time. But I got back here and I couldn't ignore it anymore. I want to see if there's more between us than just being friends.
You don't have to explain it. I feel the same way. There is something between us.
So, do you want to find out what that something is? If it's there for you, and it's there for me, why not give it a try?
Are you kidding me?
Sure. I mean, what's wrong with like emotional trauma down the road when, you know, the inevitable relationship in Star Trek accident happens?
The patient needs to rest if he wants to get back to his old self.
Of course. I'll see you again soon.
Aww. Fast adrift.
Approaching the rendezvous point outside Atari space.
Helm, bring us out of warp.
Dropping to impulse.
Ionic interference surging, Captain.
Shield integrity holding.
We can take it.
We are at the correct coordinates to meet the shuttle.
Commander Rydek, find us our diplomat, if you will.
Aye, Captain. Let's reduce the noise. Filter out environmental signals. I can manually tune what's left for Federation signal types. I've located the shuttle.
Opening comms.
On screen.
Shuttle to Resolute. Shuttle to Resolute. Debris field. Lost maneuvering. Losing.
I can't get it any clearer.
We won't get a transporter lock. It's just not happening.
Tractor beam?
Power up the tractor beam. We'll pull them directly into the docking bay.
Diaz, you good to run the tractor emitter?
Yes, sir.
You sure?
I'm sure.
Come on, Diaz. First thing, lock onto the shuttle and stabilize the rotation. We're pulling in debris.
I'm on it.
Bing bang boom. Ooh. Fast move. Oh, it's a big one. That's a big one.
That's gonna take out the shuttle. Diaz, the bridge. There's a large piece of debris headed for the shuttle. The tractor beam can't handle it.
Can our shields take it?
I believe so.
Commander Rydek, plot an intercept course.
On it. Here we go. Maneuvering thrusters bearing 53 Mark 17, 200 meters on an intercept course.
Maneuvering.
At least it was no time pressure. Oh, it's still gonna hurt, man.
Got it.
Whoa! Someone's working hard on the bridge.
It's kind of nice that the shuttle bay is like modular, that the platform, like the controls go up and down on this one.
We got the shuttlecraft on board.
Good job. We're on our way down to meet them.
Terra firma, so to speak.
Ambassador Spock.
All right, I was not expecting that. Then again, if they were going to pull an ambassador,
We'll be right down to meet you, sir.
In that case, I will wait for him here.
Apologies for the landing, Ambassador. I was operating the tractor beam, sir. I take responsibility.
Our arrival was the smoothest part of our journey. Your artistry with a tractor beam is commendable. We thought we were prepared for our arrival in Hotari space, but it is evident my craft was not sufficiently robust for such intense ionic activity.
The storm has been pretty intense.
There was an element that was most unusual. Before you came to our aid, our maneuvering thrusters and impulse engines were rendered inoperable. So we attempted a short traversal at warp speed, only to find that we could not achieve warp at all, even though our diagnostics computer showed no faults or anomalies. What do you make of that? When all indications say that warp speed is possible, but in practice, we find it is not.
Storm?
Well, this storm is one of the strangest phenomena we've ever encountered. It's disrupted other systems. Who knows what it might do to a warp drive?
Yes, it would seem further investigation is called for.
Take readings, run some additional diagnostic checks, and we'll get to the bottom of this.
Quite logical, Petty Officer...
Carter Diaz. Sir.
Thank you.
Ambassador Spock.
Excuse me.
I'm honored to have you aboard. I'd like to get right to it. We're already behind.
see, now that's something to put in his personal log. He got a conversation with Ambassador Spock. That'd be, oh no. And he got praise, it's... Provocation to war, of course.
Ambassador Spock, my senior staff. It's not every day that a captain gets to welcome a Starfleet legend aboard.
You flatter me, Captain Solano. But legend implies the past tense, whereas I am very much focused on our present circumstances.
We will say legendary.
I didn't mean to suggest you were...
Legend now? I know.
You're right, Ambassador. Not the most diplomatic choice of words.
Your experience comes from the past. But our present situation calls for it.
True enough.
We were hoping you could fill us in on the details. We got the basics from Starfleet. Two formerly peaceful neighbors are now on the brink of war.
Indeed, and the tension between them grows fiercer by the hour. Lydia and Hotari. The Lydians are the more advanced species. They made first contact with the Hotari over a century ago. This is Tau, the Hotari moon. It is rich in dilithium, and for decades, the Hotari and the Illydians have shared a mining operation there. The Illydians provide the technological resources, while the Hotari have served as the labor force.
Oof.
The stability of that arrangement was the source of their peace, until recently. The Hotari have suddenly and forcefully seized control of the mining operations and expelled the Illydians from their system. That is the official story.
Probably starting to feel like
Atari
forced labor, maybe?
requested Federation mediation, but the details remain scant. Communications between all parties have been limited by the ionic interference.
How is it the Hotari were able to turn the tables and take the mines against superior forces, especially after decades in this arrangement?
Unclear. The answer to that question may be the key to a new, lasting peace, and one that I hope we can uncover during these negotiations.
Ferengi.
But it is unlikely the relatively primitive Hotari forces would stand a chance against the Elydian fleet if this escalates to open war. Left unchecked, this conflict will result in more bloodshed, which is what we are here to prevent.
And the dilithium trade hangs in the balance.
Clearly, the Hotari have been exploited in this relationship.
Maybe we can persuade them peace is the more profitable alternative for everyone. They both profited from the mines. And for the Hotari, something is better than nothing. Peace is our objective, after all.
That is correct.
We can call it profitable or mutually beneficial, but at the end of the day, the Hotari are still being exploited for their own resources.
True peace is not merely the absence of war. And as such, this conflict will surely come again.
Neither the Elydians or the Hotari are members of the Federation, so we can't make them do anything.
There is an additional complicating factor I should mention.
There always is. Always is.
The Federation has relied on the Elydians as a source of dilithium.
Of course we have.
That certainly changes things.
The Federation sources its dilithium from a lot of places.
Yeah, and this is one of them.
We probably
That
won't be
means
trusted.
The Hotari have no reason to trust us.
I wouldn't go that far, Commander.
We are completely neutral in this matter, on neither one side nor the other. Any suggestion otherwise would compromise our position. Given the Federation's involvement in the Elydium dilithium trade, Captain Solano and I must make every effort to appear neutral in these negotiations.
What worries me is if this whole thing unravels, and we're at the mercy of the storm at less than full strength.
We can't let it come to that.
Considering what the ion storm has done to our ship, and the Ambassador's shuttle, we have to assume the Elydian fleet has had problems with it as well. This recent surge in the energy disturbance temporarily levels the playing field.
Commander Westbrook is correct. The energy anomalies around the Hotari systems have been noted in the past. But they have never been observed on the orders of magnitude we have seen in recent weeks.
So,
That may answer why the Hotari were able to strike back after so long.
perfect poop storm.
They finally had an opportunity, and they took it.
Yep.
That would also explain the Elydians' restraint.
And reason to learn as much about the energy anomaly as we can while we are here. We do not want to be caught at a disadvantage of our own.
Our proverbial pants down.
So I trust we understand our circumstances.
We're operating on a strict timetable here, and we're going to be leaving for the negotiations shortly. Commander Westbrook, I want you to leverage our systems to investigate the anomaly from here while we're gone.
Aye, Captain.
Thank you all.
Dismissed.
I want to speak to both of you privately.
Okay.
Ambassador Spock, I'd like to make a formal introduction. My first officer, Commander Jara Rydek.
Commander, as you are aware, there are limits to what Captain Solano and I can do in our official capacity as representatives of the Federation. But someone in an unofficial capacity, your first officer, for example, would not be bound by those restrictions. Commander Rydek could ingratiate
Subterfuge,
himself to
Mr.
certain
Spock?
parties behind the scenes, where they may be more candid in revealing information that could lead to a resolution.
She certainly goes her own way. Maybe that helps in this case. It would be unconventional, but I'm not opposed to it.
I'm perfectly happy to work outside the lines.
And by extension, you will be doing your duty, Commander.
Just not too far outside the lines. Well, I hope Commander Rydek will have more luck finding out what really happened than we will through official diplomatic channels.
The fate of the negotiations, the interests of the Federation, and the prospect for peace may very well depend on it.
Mr. Diaz, I understand you have already discussed the warp drive failure with Ambassador Spock?
I have.
It is imperative that the Ambassador's shuttle be flight ready. I need you both to ascertain the root cause of the system failures he encountered.
I'm surprised, Commander. I thought you would have wanted to work on Ambassador Spock's shuttle yourself.
I respect the Ambassador and his many accomplishments, but I do not derive any satisfaction from interacting with his shuttle as if it were somehow transubstantiated through its association with him.
Very
Especially
Vulcan.
when I have the entirety of this starship to concern myself with. I am not the chief engineer of this shuttlecraft.
When you look at it logically, yes, it is just a shuttle. No different than any of the others.
There is plenty that is different about it, and that is what you are to investigate. But please limit your findings to observable scientific phenomena.
We'll try to restrain ourselves.
Then I will leave you to it. Make note of any abnormalities in your report.
A bit of a smirk on that Vulcan's face
It
there.
seems like he's warming up to us.
No.
Yeah.
Not.
Even Chovok has to look at that face and know you've earned some real respect. And I have to admit that I owe you one. You were right to make me go first. I don't know what I was thinking.
Nah, you don't owe me
Get
nothing.
me out of trouble how many times? Call it even.
Okay. At the very least, maybe I can track down that bottle of Saurian brandy you're still on the hook for. But first, we have work to do.
Ready to go?
All set. Let's run the diagnostic. So, I know about your talk with Miranda.
You do?
She sent me a Priority 1 dispatch right after your conversation.
Of course she
I'm
did.
happy for you. Both of you.
Thanks.
But I'm only going to tell you this once. Don't screw this up. Because I would be very unhappy if you tried this out and then, I don't know, 6 weeks or 6 days later, I have to start splitting holidays between the two of you. All because things went south and you're not on speaking terms. That just isn't gonna work for me.
He only sent an emoji.
You don't believe in me, huh?
It's not you. Or her.
Maybe a couple of
Numbers,
emojis.
and
You know.
things don't work out more often than they do. I like my friends and I like our group. I don't want to lose that. Is that thing done?
Yeah, it's wrapping up. Let's see. The relays along the primary
Warp drive
beacons
emoji,
are
eggplant emoji.
backup
That was
relays
the.
are all intact.
An EPS overload from the warp drive could cause that. But how did the shuttle end up dead in the water?
Huh. Well, maybe the ship's data recorder can tell us something. Here.
They were only about 8 minutes from their plotted warp point. No faults, just those warnings. What are they?
Warp field.
Warp field became inverted suddenly.
I've seen this happen when the center warp coil cracks.
A cracked warp coil throws a fault code.
Still, we should take a look.
There was a complete warp cascade failure.
That doesn't sound good.
They're lucky the shuttle didn't turn inside out.
Makes me think the computer panicked on the warp field equation.
Subspace variance. Ooh.
Subspace variance out of tolerance. What does that mean?
It means the main navigation array lost sight of space somehow.
Will the array going offline cause that?
Yes, but it should have also thrown a fault code. Any one of these failures should have thrown a fault.
If it was caused by a system failure.
None of this caused the relays to blow. Roll forward to when that happened.
Yes, ma'am.
So here, they take a moment to get their bearings and they attempt to re-engage the warp drive.
There. That's the relays blowing.
Primary EPS subsystem. Ooh,
And look,
3 more.
There's another warp system alert.
They're all the same. Subspace variants out of tolerance, or warp inversions. Finally, there's a complete warp cascade failure.
Then it's one of two things. Either a warp coil is cracked or the navigation array is offline.
That makes sense.
Divide and conquer. You want to check the warp coils or the navigation array? I'll check the other. Let's not overcomplicate this. One of these systems is likely.
I'll take the warp coils.
I'll check the nacelles for a cracked coil.
A tricorder can read and analyze data. Looking through it will reveal the unseen. Use X to equip or holster your tricorder. Hold right trigger to scan glowing objects. You must be close to some objects to scan them. Watch the frame of the screen to see if you are too far away. Some objects you scan will activate a deep scan. During a deep scan, use LB and RB to switch between different scan modes and search for glowing objects. The mode indicators on the tricorder will blink if there is an object defined in that mode. When you have scanned all objects in the frame will change color. Hold the left trigger to analyze the data and finish the scan. Static field. In their standby state, the warp coils produce a residual electromagnetic field, no deviations. Scan the computer, no. Logical mode. Chemical scan. Welcome to the center coil guides the warp field through. Evidence of routine maintenance record.
I checked every coil on the port nacelle for imbalances. If any coil in either engine were cracked, I would have detected it. So, it must be the navigation array.
Except it's not. Checked and double-checked.
Well, the readings don't lie.
Here comes the security detail for the way team.
Hey.
I'm not here.
We're escorting the negotiating team to the surface as soon as they come down from the bridge. I don't want to interrupt some important work. I was just hoping to see you before I go. The captain and the others will be here any minute now. Should be an interesting ride down to the surface.
I always get time for
I'm
you.
too busy to make time for you.
That's not true.
No. But I am glad you came by.
No, that's more accurate.
I gotta be precise with you, huh?
Absolutely.
Aren't these those button pushers you're always hanging out with?
And you're the phaser jockeys we always beat in Parisi squares, right?
All aboard for Hotari.
That another one of the captain's railroad things?
Yep.
Gotta be.
I just usually zone out by the time he gets to the whole steam engines were the warp drives of their day part. Catch y'all later.
You don't want to miss your train.
Choo-choo.
I do have to go. Not gonna lie, I'd rather not leave right now. More important things on my mind.
Oh, we'll give her a kiss. No? I mean, Star Trek, so this will probably be the only one. That security team's not coming back.
Yeah, it was.
Save some of that for when I get back.
You've got a deal.
You know you never, ever say that before going on an away mission.
Be seeing you.
Etzelarda Diaz. If you could float back down to reality, we still have a ways to go.
No comment, yeah.
All right, where were we?
So,
Hey, I mean, gold is the new red. It's fine.
The nav computer doesn't seem to think so.
I'm out of ideas short of field stripping the shuttle from bow to stern.
You want to take this out of the shuttle and throw it on the bench?
Oh, real hands-on maintenance. I like it. Okay, the nav computer is patched into the ship.
The ship's computer can double-check our work. If the shuttle's nav computer is putting out false data, we'll know it.
Let's run through the shuttle's logs again.
Think there's a firewall on that table, or can we like just straight up Wesley Crusher the whole ship by plugging in the shuttle computer?
Same. Warp field inversion and a cascade failure. However, the Resolute computer doesn't show the same subspace variance.
We're in the same conditions that the shuttle was in when it failed. Why wouldn't the ship's computer get a matching result?
What if the subspace variance was a momentary occurrence?
That's a possibility, and it would explain why the simulation under our current sensor readings failed to reproduce the issue.
But a subspace anomaly strong enough to cause a warp field collapse would leave graviton ripples for days.
Let's run with the momentary subspace variance theory for now. Roll forward to the shuttle's attempt to re-engage the warp drive. We need the conditions of space around the shuttle at the moment of warp failure.
Resuming simulation.
Error in warp field calculation. Cochrane formula variables are out of range.
That right there. Take the shuttle sensor data from that moment.
Computer, why did the warp field calculation fail?
Warp field pressure returned non-orthogonal. Results are undefined.
That doesn't help.
Wait, what if we use a different ship?
Put the Resolute into the simulation instead of the shuttle.
Yeah, it should warp just fine. Unless... Computer, run the simulation with the Resolute.
Resolute simulated.
Computer, give me manual
The
control
stimulation
of
is
warp.
definitely not to scale.
Static field intensity, warp 1.1. 1.2. 1.3. Warp pressure is destabilizing. Error in warp field calculation. The warp drive has experienced a system-wide cascade failure. Warp field collapsed. Subspace variance is out of tolerance. Cochrane formula results are undefined.
Bingo.
What-o?
The same moment when the shuttle failed to warp, so did the ship. Whatever happened to the shuttle just happened to us. The Resolute will not sustain warp.
We can't leave Hotari space.
Well, not quickly, anyways. Impulse drive should still work fine. Maybe get far enough away and then do it? I don't know. And isn't it like full impulse? Still like basically light speed almost? Seat of power.
Ambassador Spock, Captain Solano, welcome to Hotari.
We are honored you have come. My name is Tylos Altaris, Minister of Diplomatic Affairs.
The honor is ours, and this is Commander Jara Rydek, first officer aboard the USS Resolute. You'll find she has a keen mind, and unique insight into the dynamics between the Hotari and the Illydians.
We are honored to be here as representatives of the
Rikard be
Federation.
finding some
These
back
must
channel
be the
diplomatic mission.
representatives of the mighty Federation, the reigning authority in the galaxy. Or so we've been led to believe. Whether that's true or not remains to be seen. But either way, we're grateful you've made the time to come to our little corner of the universe.
And you are?
Yeah, I get a job. I will take care of my negotiations. Thank you for swinging by. Oh, he look grumpy.
Let's hope this is the last time we ever have to come here.
If you'll excuse me.
I think we're about to begin.
Did you hear the arrogance from that guy?
Yep.
I don't know what we're walking into here, but that guy was something.
That may be true. But let's keep an open mind going into the negotiations. Hopefully he's just one voice amongst many.
Then let's hope he's the outlier.
The Hotari have invited us as their guests, so we must show them the proper respect.
Oh, you, sir, do not. Spock bowed. We're gonna do the Spock thing. This time.
Ambassador Spock, welcome to Holtari Prime.
The honor is mine, Your Majesty.
That the Federation would send one of their most respected representatives is not only an honor to the Hotari people and their queen, but a recognition of our stature and importance.
Let's get on with it, shall we? With all due respect to the Federation and their ambassador, they have no authority here. We are not members of their alliance. We are not subject to their rule, nor yours. We demand the immediate return of all mining operations to Illydian control, as it has been for centuries and will be for centuries more. That has always been our understanding.
That understanding has changed.
Then you invite war.
And if you cannot remain silent, you will be silenced. But his point is well taken. What is the Federation's interest in this matter? Perhaps you would have us trade one oppressor for another?
The Federation remains neutral. Our only interest is the peaceful resolution of this conflict.
And your dilithium.
Your request, Your Majesty.
And your dilithium.
For now.
I'm trying to keep an open mind here, but it's not easy. I thought they wanted us here.
Was there something you wanted to say, Captain?
Oh, no. My apologies.
And what about the Kobliad?
She's not
She
part
can
of...
speak for herself, can't she? Then let her.
Okie dokie. I don't need to step on the dais. I could have said it from there.
Now then, what is your name?
Commander Jara Rydek, Your Majesty.
Being a Kobliad, you would know better than anyone. Your people suffered brutal treatment at the hands of the Cardassians. Their injustice towards the Kobliad is as unimaginable as it is unforgivable. Not unlike how we have been treated by the Alidians.
As much as they'd have you believe they are the victims here, remember it was the Hotari who attacked us. Hundreds of innocent Alidians were slaughtered without mercy in those mines.
The blood is on their hands, not ours.
Quiet! If after all the Kobliad suffered, you finally had the chance to right that wrong, to get out from under their control, would you take it? Or would you negotiate a peace?
Oh, gee. I hate this timer. I want a second to think. I would seek peace.
There is no remedy for what the Kobliad suffered. And I fear who we might have become in pursuit of it. There is no justice if the oppressed become the oppressor. So I would willingly accept a peaceful resolution if it were offered. That is the real opportunity.
Perhaps, Commander Rydak. Perhaps. Unfortunately, that was not the case, was it?
No, it was not.
Peace is often elusive to those who need it most.
True.
The Federation is the most powerful, most advanced alliance in the galaxy. It's widely known we have an abundance of dilithium in our mines. And it's in your interest to secure a steady supply.
Your Majesty, if I may.
Ambassador Spock would have us believe you're here as a neutral party in the interest of peace. So why are you really here? I want the truth, not your Federation rhetoric.
Yeah, dilithium is a factor.
It's possible the Federation has an interest in both peace and securing a steady source of dilithium. One does not preclude or prevent the other. But that's just my personal opinion.
Given the Federation has done business with the Alidians for decades, I would agree. It's entirely possible, if not highly likely.
What they haven't said, but cannot deny, is a simple truth. The dilithium trade would not and will no longer exist without Alidian involvement. We created it for the benefit of everyone, especially the Hotari. We've given them warp technology. We've let them share in the profits. We've made their lives infinitely better than before dilithium was discovered.
You should share in the labor.
All that goes away if the Federation turns a blind eye to their treachery.
That is enough of your lies! The Hotari are quite capable of running the mines. We've done so for centuries. So tell me, who deserves control of the dilithium trade and the mines on Tau? Who should the Federation recognize? The Hotari or the Alidians? Can only be one or the other, not both.
If I have to choose only one, then it would have to be the Hotari.
Well said. How could the just and wise Federation make any other choice?
This is an outrage. The Federation has lost all credibility.
The mines are ours. Lydia will not be deterred. We will take back our mines by any means necessary.
Then you will see more blood spilled.
I am more than willing to address your concerns, Your Majesty. Yours as well, Representative. But I suggest we could have a more productive conversation with a smaller group. Perhaps only the most essential representatives.
I suppose there is some sense to that. I hope we meet again, Jara Ryder.
Hey man, she asked me to speak the truth, not, you know.
Spock and I will cover everything on the diplomatic front. You make nice with the locals and see if you can get some answers. We need to find out why the Hotari are so willing to risk war. What happened in those mines?
Speak with members of each faction.
Soothing.
Probably works as natural air conditioning in here too. Oh.
Such rough terrain. No wonder the Hotari are so tough.
So I need bio break. I need my water. And I will be back in a couple of Alrighty, I'm back. Got my water. A little bit of the little lad's herbal popcorn. Local regional popcorn. Very delish. And my Fit Crunch wafer bar. Alrighty, where were we? We were about to talk to the locals. Or maybe find out what happened in the mines to cause all of this trouble. Go. Music got quiet.
Commander, I'm glad you've chosen to side with the Hotari. I knew the Federation would see through the Elidians' baseless claims and protect the interests of my people.
Even though the Hotari should have control of the mines, some of the Elidian claims are still valid.
There you're wrong, but we can agree to disagree.
I assume you were there the day the mines were seized from the Elidians.
Not seized. Reclaimed. And restored to their rightful owners. Yes, I was there. We had to be decisive. Before the Elidians could even realize their worst nightmares upon them.
You were armed?
Were the Hotari miners armed during the revolt? I'm just trying to understand how it happened.
If by that you mean armed with centuries of abuse and exploitation at the hands of the Elidians, then yes.
Which doesn't really answer my question.
We had them vastly overwhelmed from the start.
Sheer numbers?
They respect one thing above all else, and that is force. The greater the force, the more certain the outcome. Any talk of making peace is just that, and worth little without the strength to secure it. Which makes me wonder about your ship, the Resolute. Undoubtedly the Federation's finest warship. Ready to contend with anything the Elidians might have in store. Or is that not true? Maybe I've misjudged it.
I wouldn't say state-of-the-art, but the Resolute is plenty capable and can hold its own against just about anything.
Let's hope so. Because at the moment, it's the only thing preventing them from wiping us off the map.
Sidron.
A pleasure meeting you, Commander. I'm sure we'll cross paths again.
They all just gonna disappear one by one as I talk to them?
Commander Rydek, I'm encouraged to see the Federation supporting my people. I'm afraid of what might happen without your help.
I'm glad to hear it. I just hope you're not the only one who feels that way.
I apologize for that. These are unusual times, to say the least. Much is changing. I saw you speaking with Sidron, our national hero. I'm curious, what did he say?
He seems to be of the opinion that negotiating for peace is a waste of time.
Because force is the only blunt instrument he understands. He's a
No.
miner, not a diplomat. For the first time in our history, the Hotari have the upper hand. We see ourselves as strong instead of downtrodden. New voices have risen up. Old voices shouted down. Galvin and Sidron have become national heroes. Now, they have the Queen's ear. Better or worse, depending on your perspective.
They're against peace? You don't trust them? You don't trust them?
I get the sense you don't exactly trust them.
I don't trust their instincts, which are leading us to war. My fear has been that the Illidians will launch an attack and crush us. You've seen their starship, no doubt. They could have retaken the mines whenever they wanted to, but it never happened. And as strange as this may sound, I'd almost say they're afraid. I just don't know what they're afraid of. It's still the same bluster and bravado you would expect from them. But it has no teeth. Like they're afraid of what might happen.
Because of what happened in the mines. Is it Galvin they're afraid of?
It's entirely possible. But I don't know for sure. Whatever Galvin is doing in those mines is turning everything upside down. But no one knows exactly what's happening. Since the day of the revolt, Galvin has seized control of the mines and restricted all access. No one's allowed without his personal authorization. And they've
Outside
taken
tech.
restoration of the palace with just as much secrecy and security.
Found, or some ancient weapon found underground.
Something they brought back from the mines. I've made inquiries, but everyone pretends it doesn't exist. I strongly suspect they're hiding something.
Why would they do that?
I don't know. But that's what concerns me. Whatever they're hiding, it can't be good.
How can we know?
I'd better see what's happening.
Do you think you can find out what they're hiding? I need to see proof of something before I can make my case to the Federation.
I can try, but even if I found it, I might not know what to make of it.
Take this. You can use it to capture whatever you find, and then send it to me.
Giving away Federation technology?
I will let you know what I find. And I look forward to our meeting again.
Sorry, I couldn't help but notice you were speaking with the Hotari this whole time. I figured in the interest of fairness, I should offer another perspective.
Of course.
I'm probably not telling you anything you don't already know, but these negotiations rely on the Federation's neutrality, as does any hope you might have for a supply of dilithium in the future. So, why you would choose to side with the Hotari escapes me. Without Illidian involvement, there is no dilithium trade. Clearly, you weren't aware.
No, dilithium's not my concern.
All my concerns. Dilithium is not one of them. I could care less about securing a supply, now or in the future.
I'd be curious to know if the rest of the Federation shares your indifference.
Probably not, no.
Major Salit Arminta, Special Attaché, Illidian Armed Forces. Pleasure to meet you, Commander. I have my issues with the Hotari, but I have to give them some credit. They know how to seize an opportunity. Inciting an uprising the same day as a massive once-in-a-lifetime ion storm.
Our assumption was that this storm was just an anomaly.
Yes, a very convenient anomaly. At least that was what we were told. Of course, I wasn't there. But who am I to say otherwise?
You sound skeptical.
Well, the official story is that it was the storm that enabled the revolt. How else do a bunch of unarmed, unorganized miners seize control of an entire moon, much less thousands of mines?
True.
But I've talked to people who were there. They tell a different story. They say they're lucky to have escaped with their lives. That it was more than just the storm. That somehow the miners were able to harness the energy from the storm. I know it sounds crazy. I'm not even sure I believe it myself. But that's what they said.
You just answered your own question. How do a group of miners do something that in theory can't be done? That's how. Harnessing the storm.
But even if it's true, how does that even happen?
You tell me.
If you'll excuse me, Commander Ryder.
Alright, so they found something in the mine that allowed them to harness the energies from the storm.
Well, that was a disaster.
What happened?
The Hotari refused to concede anything, so the Illidians stormed out.
The Hotari did not invite us here as peacekeepers. I hope your efforts were more fruitful than ours.
Gravitational harmonics failing to resolve. Warp bubble stability degrading. Increase output to maximum.
Not gonna do any good.
Increasing warp output to maximum.
It's happening again.
It is evident that presently, the Resolute cannot achieve warp propulsion.
Since our diagnostics rule out any problems with our warp systems or anything about the ship, the problem appears to be the fabric of space itself.
Space itself? You're saying something about this region of space prevents warp travel?
Prevents it, or can't sustain it.
Ah, that's what I said earlier. We've got impulse
That
engines.
appears to be the case.
Well, couldn't we slow boat it out of here at impulse speed?
It may come to that, but we don't know how far this warp dead zone extends. Captain Solano is on his way back from the negotiations, and I want to have some answers for him when he gets here.
Indeed. Given the facts at hand, we may be able to deploy subspace probes around the ship to construct a clearer picture of the phenomenon.
Around the ship. I'll prep a shuttle.
The scientific method. We get the pilot. You're just cargo boxes on the back of the ship?
I'm setting up a waypoint at a distance roughly corresponding to the edge of our warp field. When we get there, I'll deploy the first probe.
Find the shuttle to your objective to complete a mission. Right trigger to fly forward, left trigger to fly backward. Right to turn, left to strafe. The Onyx storm will fill your path with dangerous hazards. Green lightning will damage your shuttle. Taking damage 3 times will fail the mission. You can fly through the rings created by the storm if you pilot carefully. Follow the lit path. Navigation computer displays information about the area. Storm hazard and asteroids. Not run into the ship.
Commander Westbrook, the Resolute systems are
Does not steer well. We're in space. Like, just going forward should just take us forward. Shouldn't be drift.
Chovak will be in position shortly.
And Mr. Diaz, do take care in piloting the shuttlecraft. Now is not the time to indulge in the human penchant for joyriding.
Of course it does.
Chovak probably isn't such a fun guy to work for, huh?
I just don't take it personally. At least I try not to.
That's a very mature answer. Shows a positive attitude on your part. Remind me of it when I start complaining to you about the ship's new first officer.
I'll fly through it, not go around it. Beep, 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 beep.
This is far enough.
Okay.
Transporting the first probe into position.
Oh, it's a good thing I picked that up, put it back on the rack then, huh?
Probe is deployed.
Understood. We are reading it. We are about to replay the simulation.
Problem?
I'm just not getting any traction with her. Commander Rydek. She rejected my plan to use a deflector pulse against the storm surge. She didn't listen to me when you were out on the hull and I was trying to make it safer for you. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with the new XO. I'm sure she's a fine officer, even if we don't see eye to eye. But she didn't go through what the rest of us did. You know that. And it's hard to figure out why she'd be the one Solano chose instead of, well, one of us.
I've heard some good things. You should at least give her a chance.
I'll take that under advisement.
Test is running. Warp field collapse in 3, 2, 1, mark.
Whoa. All right, that is definitely a problem with the fabric of space. We need to get
Like invisible asteroids.
With 2 points of data, the Resolute and the probe, we've managed to get an interference pattern. I'm setting a waypoint to a particularly strong area of interference. We'll deploy the second probe there.
Okay. Really? They deploy me right at a giant rock?
Listen, I'm gonna give you a piece of advice I wish someone had given me. Make sure you're never just one thing. And don't get so focused on what's in front of your face that you lose sight of the big picture. Before Rydek showed up, the captain pulled me into his ready room and told me he didn't think I had the people skills to be first officer. What a load of crap. I mean, if he'd said that about Chovak, sure.
Well, if you're asking, I think you're a people person. After all, here we are. Me, an enlisted officer. You, one of the senior staff. Talking like old buddies.
I should send Solano to talk to you.
Bring him on.
I'm sure you can handle him. You've got potential. You're a capable engineer. You're good in the field. Keep up the good work, and who knows? A solid jack of all departments like you could be Commander-in-Chief of Starfleet one day. Hell, Admiral Jellicoe started as a shuttle pilot. And there are places to go in the enlisted ranks, too. Of course, if you get an officer's commission, they'll put you on another ship.
You know, I'd be the best leader Starfleet ever had. Lower decks always have to fix all the problems command causes. Maybe I'd just save everybody some steps.
Well, don't forget about us little people when you're running things.
Yep.
Of course not. You gotta remember where you came from.
Oh, he liked that. That's good. Ooh. Ooh.
Here. This is close enough. Stop the engines. Deploying the probe. Westbrook to Commander Chovak. We're ready for another sampling of data.
Very good. Running the simulation again. Warp field collapse in 3, 2, 1, mark.
There it is again.
I saw it. It seems to be directional.
Well, what about the scans? Anything?
Here's the readings in relation to our local space. We've got the Resolute, Otari Prime, and the probes.
All this interference is overloading the sensor buffers. We're gonna have to triangulate the sensors manually.
Okay. Oh, that's interesting. There's like...
We got something.
These markers indicate peaks in the gravimetric interference patterns.
Let's see if I can find some more.
Scanning. Scanning. Oh, there's another one. One more over here. Come on. Doot, 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 doot. It needs like a sound effect for doing this. Our data. Oh, there we go.
Hold up.
Should have
This is
figured.
coming from the moon.
A beam that blocks warp travel.
Aimed right at us.
Someone is doing this intentionally. I don't know how they're doing it.
This is an attack.
I've ever seen.
We're under attack and we didn't even know it. We need to stop them. Unplug whatever it is they're hitting us with.
Now, look here. It's current readings of the ion storm.
These concentrations. They line up with the interference pattern. The storm and this beam, they're coming from the same place.
Carter, whatever petty local conflict brought us here, it's just a small part of something much bigger.
Always is.
Presently, we don't have an explanation for how they're doing this. But one thing is clear. This is no fluke.
Thank you, Mr. Westbrook. I want a full briefing when I'm back on board. Solano out. A targeted weapon that inhibits warp travel. Coming from the moon Tau.
That would explain the difficulties my shuttle encountered. More importantly, the tenor of the Hotari during the negotiations.
And here I thought the Elydians would be the problem. Coming to peace talks in a warship. This wasn't supposed to be so complicated.
For all their posturing, every indication is that the Elydians are afraid of the Hotari. They didn't bring their warship as a threat. They brought it because they're scared.
From everything we witnessed, I would say that is highly likely.
But what are they afraid of?
Tylus, the Hotari representative, said she thought they found something in the mines. Galvin and Sidron brought it back to the palace, but they're keeping it under tight security. She's going to investigate it. I gave her my tricorder. I expect she'll contact us soon.
You found an ally.
Why would Tylus help us? Go behind her people's back? It's a fair question, considering.
She's out of other options.
She's worried that her people are being dragged into something that isn't going to end well for them. She's trying to save them.
That may be true.
She's certainly more likely to help than the other Hotari we've met.
That raises another question. Specifically, what do the other Hotari have to gain in bringing us here, only to make this hostile maneuver against us? There must be some motivation.
Unless they changed their minds between when they asked and when we got here.
They want to learn more about us.
When we spoke outside the Queen's chamber, he wanted to know all about us, our ship, the Federation. He wasn't giving any answers. He was looking for them.
Well, I'm sure you didn't tell him too much. I don't think the Elydians know what's really down on that moon either.
Major Armintas said the revolt defied explanation. That the Hotari miners somehow harnessed the energy of the storm.
Harness the energy of the storm?
Doing that is beyond even our capabilities.
So is a weapon that disrupts warp travel.
There have been civilizations and entities, both past and present, far more technologically advanced than the Federation.
The Elydians and Hotari don't fall into that category.
But that is all the more reason to investigate further.
Commander Rydek, sorry to interrupt. We've received an urgent call from Hotari. The Queen's advisor, Tylus, has asked to speak with you.
Put her through.
Galvin and Sidron are still with the Queen. I've enlisted help to gain access to the room they have under guard. I don't have much time.
I'm not supposed to leave my post.
It's only for a moment. I so appreciate your help.
I found something. I'm sending you a scan.
Got it. Tylus, if we needed to gain access to the mines on Tau, is that something you could help us with?
I suppose, It wouldn't be easy, but I have to go.
Tylus.
Ruh-roh.
Can we reconnect?
Sorry, Captain. We've lost all contact.
We can only hope she escaped without harm.
It was hard to tell.
I'm the one who got her into this. If something happens to her, it's my fault.
She's one of the Queen's closest advisors. I'm sure she'll be fine. Assuming the Queen isn't part of this. Let's see the scan of whatever the hell that was.
Tylus suspects this came from the mines on Tau.
It appears to be of ancient origin, but the markings are unfamiliar.
We can run a full analysis when we get back to the Resolute. But if this came from the mines, then it might be the key to how they got the upper hand against the Illydians.
Then we have to go into the mines.
The Federation would not allow that. We're, after all, sent here to be a neutral party in a peace negotiation. However, we could demonstrate that the Hotari have acted in bad faith, which would enable us to investigate the mines on Tau with full justification. But of course, we would need conclusive proof before taking action. Otherwise, it could put us in a difficult position.
Whatever this artifact is may be proof enough. At least to satisfy the Federation.
Especially if we can show the Hotari are controlling the warp disruption. And targeting the Resolute.
We may have a better understanding once we analyze the device. But a mission to the mines, covert or otherwise, is not out of the question. And I will handle the Federation.
I mean, as an impartial third party, we should be able to inspect the conditions of the mine.
On this warp problem. And the negotiating team's shuttle has been recording data all the way back from Hotari.
Containment protocol.
Better than our probes. So pull the sensor and engine ISOs from the Melville when it sets down.
Will do.
I'll join you and Chovok down in engineering to run another analysis after the briefing.
I didn't like this warp problem when we thought it was some astronomical anomaly. And I like it a hell of a lot less now that we know someone is doing it to us. How does it work? What do we even do about it?
What do you say we pull these chips and find out?
Took some damage on the way. That ionic interference scored the hull plating. Might be some micro welds. Let's try pulling together.
All right.
3, 2, 1. It won't budge. Gotta be the storm damage. We need to... Welcome back. Any excitement down on the surface?
Excitement? No. Nothing like that.
Hey, can you hand me the EJ7 interlock? From the toolbox.
I don't know what that is.
Not much use for one on a security detail, huh? Carter?
Yeah, I'll get it.
Plasma welding torch.
Okay, I'll apply pressure while you decouple the panel.
Here, I'll help.
We've got this.
Open up and say ah.
Thanks for the hand. We have to get these isolinear chips down to engineering.
No problem. You really know everything about these ships, don't you?
Yes. Yes, I do.
The tools, the systems. Like a walking Starfleet technical manual.
What can I say? I'm good at what I do.
I can see that.
Come on.
Oh.
Pulling chips.
Red. Ah. Usual confidence was leading towards cockiness when she returned from Atari. Well, oh, he enjoyed the conversation. That's good. What about over here? Did we? Ambassador Spock that Jar performed well under pressure when she was being questioned by the Hotari Queen. Oh, okay. And then Bedrosian admired Jara's instincts to protect the crew when Starbase ordered her to disengage the docking clamps, but she was worried when Jara seemed willing to follow Captain Solano's orders without trying to explain the situation. And she was disappointed when Jara followed Captain Solano's orders and put the crew on the hull at risk. Well, like... Oh, they really didn't like that I followed his orders, huh? Oh, well, Ermot did. Just to protect the crew. Starbase ordered just get documented, but he was concerned when Jar seemed willing to follow Captain Solano's orders without trying to explain the situation. Commander Ermot respected Jar's confidence in... Oh, so they didn't like that I didn't tell the captain what was going on. I should have at least been like, hey, it's not that simple. And Ermot respected Jar's confidence in following the captain's orders, even though he had his own conflicted feelings about putting the crew on the hull at risk. So, like, they wanted me to at least have said, like, hey, there might be a problem. She understood the loyalty to the captain, to think independently. And the Vulcan was like, yes, you followed orders. Good, good, good. Have me grab with the like the thumb and forefinger on the controller. Oh, I dropped it. Oh, I didn't drop it. He dropped it.
Some kind of crystal formation?
Whoa. This substance is a quantized spin crystallization of hydrogen, carbon, and lithium. It's emitting tetrametric pulses at an interval of 3.8422 seconds.
Quantized crystallization isn't natural. I mean, it's only theoretical as a means to engineer matter on a subatomic level. What's it doing in there?
Oh, don't touch it.
Wait. Regulation 364, subsection 9.
What?
Regulation 364, subsection 9.
We're under quarantine.
In the case of an unknown foreign substance infiltrating a sealed system, it will be placed in secure confinement before further examination. Retrieve a containment module.
Don't you think we're more equipped to deal with whatever this is?
No. Before anything else, this is a security issue. You don't even
not
know
wrong.
what this is.
Which is why we need to study it.
Once it's contained.
Well, if it's not natural, then someone might have put it there. It could be a tracking device, some kind of sabotage, or even a bomb.
Which is why we need to get it to the containment lab.
Come on.
I can't make an exception. Not even for you.
I'm still going to report these crystals to Commander Westbrook when we send the shuttle data.
And I will inform my superiors. I'm taking this just as seriously as you are.
Yeah, everybody, yes, that is the correct answer.
I overheard talk about the warp disruption on the shuttle. Now these crystals? Maybe this situation is more than we can handle with just a science vessel. We could trigger a distress call, get Starfleet to send more ships. Or I could send a message to my old CO on the Adirondack. Get some combat-tested vessels. We shouldn't do this alone.
Miranda, you gotta be more careful. Someone hears that, they could think you're talking mutiny.
I'm just trying to figure out how we can help. Okay, stand back. Get this to the containment lab. We'll get it set up for you. I'll let you know when it's safely confined.
Oh, we'll be there.
Last thing you want is to study this down in main engineering and have it explode next to the warp core.
She's not wrong.
Almost forgot.
Can't have that.
For a second, I thought she'd gone cold on you. Like she might have changed her mind. But I guess this whole situation has her spooked.
Yes?
Maybe she knows more than us. Or it's because this is all happening so fast. But she usually doesn't scare easy.
She's security, it's her job.
Seriously, but that's her job. When she's on duty, she's gotta be on the lookout for danger.
Yeah, but talking about sending a distress call on her own?
That was a bit
That's
much.
going too far.
Yeah.
She was probably just thinking out loud. I'm sure she'll come to her senses. This mission has enough complications stacking up.
Now, we'll get through it. You, me, and Miranda too.
I'm gonna have to pick between them at some point.
Rydick was able to work behind the scenes during the negotiations and made contact with a representative from the Hotari delegation named Tylus. She mentioned an unusual artifact of unknown origin being held under tight security within the Hotari Palace, which she believes came from the mines on Tau. Now, this artifact might have a connection to the revolt, to the storm, and to the warp disruption we now know has been targeted at the Resolute. Commander Rydick, if you want to take it from here.
Of course. Tylus managed to infiltrate the heavily guarded location within the palace and sent us these scans using my tricorder. It appears to be some sort of control panel, possibly connected to the warp disruption weapon originating on Tau. Of particular interest is this symbol, which we couldn't identify the origin of.
The Federation database has records from a vast number of civilizations. If anyone from Starfleet has come across this before, the system should recognize it.
Cross-referencing with Federation records.
Displaying symbols from Federation database with a 90% probability of match or higher. Select a symbol to further analyze.
Yeah, Klingon. No, it's not the Klingons. That almost looks like it's inverted. Peter's like, no, dummy. It's definitely not it. Oh, that looks like it. Bing bong.
99.2% match.
Got it.
Con.
So, what are we looking at?
The design and composition indicate this is a glyph associated with the ancient Khan Empire. Their civilization collapsed over 600,000 years ago, but once spanned millions of systems with a population numbering in the trillions.
Fascinating. The Takan were once the most advanced, most powerful civilization in the galaxy.
Is it possible the Hotari found Takan technology?
I wonder if they even know what they have.
Clearly!
Our knowledge of the Takan is limited. I have only encountered passing references to them.
Actually, I've heard of the Takan.
You have?
Quite impressive, Commander.
Computer, summarize the Enterprise D's discovery of a Takan outpost.
On Stardate 41386.4, the USS Enterprise D, under the command of Captain Jean-Luc Picard, discovered a Takan outpost in the Delphi Ardu system. According to the mission summary, an unbreakable energy-draining field was deployed against the Enterprise and a Ferengi ship. The Enterprise was only able to escape after negotiating their release with an entity known as Portal 6-3, Guardian of the Takan Empire.
Unbreakable energy draining field. It starts to make sense.
What else is there?
There's a lot here. Let's take it piece by piece.
Select the aspect you wish to learn more about.
Starfleet restrictions.
There appears to be some sort of restriction order from Starfleet. Computer, explain this restriction.
A Starfleet directive similar to General Order 7 forbids entering the Delphi Ardu system or attempting to make contact with Portal 6-3.
Starfleet doesn't throw up a no trespassing sign for just anybody.
I suppose it makes sense considering what happened to the Enterprise D.
The technology to capture and hold the Federation flagship would have to be unbelievably powerful. Computer, what else can you tell us about the energy-draining field the Takan used?
The Enterprise D was unable to break free on its own. The precise nature of the technology was never fully understood. Only that the crystalline technology used was beyond the comprehension of then-current Starfleet science.
The engineering team found a quantized spin crystal formation in the shuttle you took to Hotari. They registered tetrametric radiation coming from it.
We have Takan technology on board right now?
We might. I'll run a full analysis in the containment lab.
What sort
Planet
of planet
itself.
is Delphi Ardu 4?
Delphi Ardu 4 is an M-class planet, a barren rocky world with little to no vegetation and frequent ion storms. The giant crystals that grow there absorb energy, but it is not understood how they do so. The entire Delphi Ardu system, consisting of 11 planets, was considered completely uninhabited until the encounter with Portal 6-3.
Frequent ion storms. That can't just be a coincidence. Someone from the Takan Empire is actually still around.
Or at least was, 16 years ago.
Computer, what other information do you have on Portal 6-3, Guardian of the Takan Empire?
The entity known as Portal 6-3 is of an unknown nature. A biped humanoid, he was unaware that the Takan Empire no longer existed at the time of the encounter. He was able to control the crystal-based technology of the Takan outpost through apparent telepathic means. It was by his choice that the Enterprise was released from the energy-draining field after Commander William T. Riker of the Away Team argued on behalf of both Starfleet and the Ferengi.
Telepathic control of their technology.
As I have said, they were the most advanced civilization in the galaxy.
The Elydians should have crushed the revolt. But if the Hotari have Takan technology and
That was the first episode the Ferengi were shown.
Negotiate peace.
Pretty sure.
For all we know, this could be just the beginning. And we're up against something greater than we can imagine.
Now we need to get to those mines.
There's only one way to find out. We need to see what's down there for ourselves.
I might be able to help with that. We've been able to triangulate the source of the ionic interference and warp disruption to a specific mine on Tau. Engineering used the latest data from your shuttle to pinpoint its origin.
There.
So we know where to look.
Commander Rydek's right. We need to know what's down there, what the Hotari are hiding, to better understand what we're up against, and to neutralize it if we can.
Captain, embarking on a mission to the Hotari moon would not be viewed favorably by either side. However, given the circumstances, we are entirely within our rights to defend ourselves.
I just want to make sure this doesn't blow up in our faces, which is why
it will.
I'm sending Commander Rydek on a covert mission to Tau. Assuming you're up to the task. It would require absolute secrecy. And obviously, it's not without risk.
I'll get the away team in and out. They're in safe hands with me.
Under normal circumstances, that would be the case. But given the sensitive nature of this incursion...
Oh, it's just me?
I'll have to go it alone. I'm hoping Tylus can accompany you. The priority is to avoid detection. It's a calculated risk. The last thing we need is to get caught and then blamed for violating our neutrality and aggravating an already tense situation. We can't afford any mistakes, which is why I've chosen you.
Tylus will be essential to my success. Not only her knowledge of the mines, but her ability to gain access, particularly now that we know which mine we need to get into.
We won't even get in without her.
She understands the need to keep this covert.
She's not going to want her people to know about this.
Oh, no.
Get in touch with Tylus and make the necessary arrangements as discreetly as possible.
Well, he liked it, but what does she not like about it? Or maybe that's the neutral one?
To the edge of the Hotari system.
She's concerned for me.
Straight for the homeworld.
Understood.
It would seem we no longer have the luxury of waiting. In that case, may I suggest you and I return to Hotari Prime? Doing so will provide Commander Rydek as much time as possible to complete her mission.
Agreed. We'll hail the Queen's delegation from my ready room. We all know what we need to do. Dismissed.
Is that like, do they call it Hotari Prime, or is that like out like the Federation's word for it? Like they just call it Hotari? Like we're humans from Earth. Like, we're not called Earthians. Lost and found.
Diaz and Ed Solar. Where is the crystal formation that you found in the shuttle? I have tasked Ensign Calloway with performing a full analysis of the tetrametric pulses.
The isolation lab.
Security brought it to the containment lab.
I was just there. They don't know anything about it. Security never checked it in.
Miranda never got there?
She's the one that had the crystal formation?
Yeah, her and the rest of the security detail from the negotiations.
Diaz, Tamaris. Carter Diaz to Miranda Maris.
Commander Westbrook to Petty Officer Miranda Maris. Respond.
Something's not right.
She's still on the ship. She has to be.
Computer, locate Petty Officer Miranda Maris.
Petty Officer Miranda Maris is in the isolinear storage array on Deck 5.
I'll go find her.
Good.
I am sure Mr. Diaz can attend to this on his own.
Important choice time. Grabbing the isolinear ships that I pulled out of there to go with the crystal. Is she section 31? Is she... Look around. Is it just the one thing to interact with? Ooh. Yeah. They went through the isolinear chips.
Who did this?
Well, pick them up. Well, I don't want to do either yet. Well, I can go back over here and look at this thing before I go up the ladder.
What the?
Oh, it's just you. I'm busy right now. Why don't you come back later?
I called you on the comm badge. Twice. Commander Westbrook, too. Why didn't you answer?
Oh, I guess I was just caught up in my work. But I'm through here, so I can't stay and chat. I have other things to do. Sorry you came all this way for nothing.
But hold on a second. Commander Westbrook said the crystal formation we found in the shuttle never made it to the containment lab. He sent me to find you.
I don't know why he'd say that. I brought the crystals to the lab myself. Whatever he told you, he got it wrong. All I know is where I left them.
If that's the case, let's both go down there and find them. It's that simple.
I don't have time for that. I have work to do. Look, I appreciate that you came to check on me, but I'm fine. You worry too much. We're on a starship. Nothing's gonna happen to me here.
Miranda, you can be honest with me. Are you in some kind of trouble? The crystals are missing, and now... I don't even know what you're doing in here pulling ISOs.
Will you drop it? I don't like being interrogated, Carter.
Hey, wait up!
I'm getting some very mixed signals from you right now. I'm sorry. I'm under a lot of stress right now.
Yeah?
Just tell Chovak or whoever I don't know where the crystals are, and let me go about my business. I know we have some things to figure out. I don't have time to stand around and debate with you. Not
Let me
right
help you.
now.
I want to help you, but you're not making it easy.
Then I'll try to make it simple. You don't have to say anything at all.
Miranda, hold on.
No. Get out of my way.
No.
So I see you found each other.
You were taking so long, the commander sent us to see what the problem was. Diaz, you were sent here with specific orders, and fighting your crewmate wasn't one of them. What the hell is going on here?
Let's just let them explain.
I'd like to hear that, because I know what it looks like.
She attacked me.
That's ridiculous.
And tried to get away with this. She was copying data onto it. I caught her in the act.
This drive is unauthorized.
There are ISOs all over the floor.
And that's why I was in here, investigating this situation. And when Carter came looking for me, we got our wires crossed. It wasn't anything more than that.
Even if that was true, it still doesn't answer what happened to the crystal formation that she took. And she isn't helping.
I can't tell you what I don't know. I brought them where they belonged, and that's where I left them.
I don't know what's going on here, but I think we need to call it into security. She can explain herself in the brig.
Hold on a minute. We don't need to put this on anyone's permanent record. Miranda, maybe you're feeling out of sorts and we should head to sickbay so the doc can check you out?
Yeah, I haven't felt right since I came back from Hotari. I think I should see the doctor.
You two know her? If you really think she's not well, we can take her to sickbay first. But what I know is this is a security breach, and we should treat it as such.
Please, just let me go see the doctor.
She did have a bumpy ride back on the shuttle. Come on, Carter. We should get her taken care of.
Should,
Better be sure
but this is we're doing the right thing playthrough.
This is Petty Officer Diaz. I need a security team to Deck 5.
This is unbelievable.
Oof. What lies beneath? Excuse? I don't even have a phaser on my hip? Excuse me. What is that about?
Foliage on Tau resembles underwater plant life on Earth. The universe is full of mysteries.
Yeah, but like no phaser, no tricorder? Just suddenly have those later, huh?
Rydek here.
This is Zermot. Any trouble getting to the surface?
I'm really starting to miss transporters.
As long as this storm is around, you'd better learn to like shuttles. But if you can find the cause of the interference, we might be able to get back to transporting.
As if I needed another incentive. We both know there's a lot more than that riding on this.
Fair enough. You'll need to get in and out of the mine undetected, so I hope Minister Tylus can help in that regard.
So do I.
And to keep this covert, we'll refrain from contact unless absolutely necessary.
Yeah, because you're basically on speakerphone. On a... That always bothered me. Like, they're always basically on speakerphone, even when they're trying to be sneaky. How is it the Federation lost, like, earbud technology? Just like, boop, poke a little earbud, you know, and it Bluetooths to the comm badge. You know, like, squawk, squawk. Oh, we've been giving away our... Like, come on. Now we have a crouch mechanic? Okay. Ooh. Flashy lights.
The ionic interferences coming from underground. I should find a safer way down there.
Yeah, don't jump down the hole. I can move quickly while crouched. That's interesting. Little frame stutter there, but... Solid Snake we are not.
I saw your shuttle take off. Hopefully no one else did.
Everybody else did.
Good to see you. Even under these unfortunate circumstances.
When you called to give us a scan, it sounded like they caught
Shuttlecraft don't have cloaking technology, so it's not like somebody's scanner didn't probably
It was nothing I couldn't handle.
Lead the way. I'll fill you in on what we've learned about the situation.
Follow me.
The device Galvin and Sidron brought back from the mines
Oh,
is being
no more
used
running.
to control some sort of warp disruption weapon that has the Resolute trapped in Hotari space. According to our readings, the power source for that device is on this moon, at the specific coordinates I sent you.
That sounds impossible. But explains the rumors of the Hotari controlling the ionic storm.
We strongly suspect the device was created by an ancient empire known as the Takan.
The Takan?
Once the most powerful civilization in the galaxy. but they've been gone for over 600,000 years.
It's hard to believe there's something like that on Tau.
Which is why I need proof. If we find hard evidence that Galvin and his allies are hiding dangerous to Khan technology, I can convince the Federation to let us intervene.
Understood. We're almost there.
Mining ships.
Prospect 614 North, Subdivision 20.
It's enormous.
Just one of the thousands across Tau. The pride of Hotari.
How do we get inside?
The structure that circles the mine has entry points for transporting equipment into the lower levels. They're guarded, but nothing I can't get past using my authority.
Well, that's good to hear.
As long as you can avoid being seen, I should be able to talk my way past any miner. And provide a little distraction for you in the process.
How do I avoid being seen?
You don't use the door.
Yeah. I mean, that makes sense.
How dare you? Don't you know who I am? I am.
That was a hard cut.
Minister of Diplomatic Affairs.
That's not...
The Queen would be furious to hear you tried to deny me entry.
The Queen? But I just...
You've just what? Just now realize the trouble you've made for yourself? And who exactly do you think you're going to report this to? Because I'll be reporting it as well.
Scanning here.
Much further the ladder. You have no authority here. Do you understand who pays your wage? I can inform the Queen directly of this insolence.
There's no
You'll
need
regret
for...
everything you've said here today. You should have opened the doors the second I appeared before you.
That's not the protocol. I didn't know
Each second you delay my entry will be recorded, processed, and permanently marked on your record. I can't believe this. Does your brain function? Do you speak our tongue?
Minister, I have orders.
How could a fellow Hotari not understand this? You're digging your own grave. I've reached the end of my patience. Escort me to the maintenance bay.
I told you I can't just...
Now!
But fine.
A wise choice. Lead the way, and be quick.
Examine the resting spot.
Someone takes their breaks up here. Maybe the same guard who left that window unlocked. I suppose the view is nice.
Nice of them to have left the window unlocked. Our convenient way.
Okay. Let's get a look inside you.
One of 3 anomalies detected. Prevents solid matter from passing through. Signal receiver that controls field activation. Kind of focusing the pattern of the force field. Scan complete.
Full system access. Let's see if I can just... Bingo.
Almost as good as a sonic screwdriver. Their security is terrible.
Better hurry. Not sure how long she can keep him busy.
I'm gonna guess long enough. You can't crouch or run with your tricorder equipped.
Might be rigged to only open for registered users.
Yeah.
Control panel here. I should take a look with my tricorder. Might control the exit door. Need to see inside it. Something in here is keeping that door closed.
Scanning. Scanning. Oh, that's all.
Got it. Should remove the security check on the door.
Made them go back out now. Or just walk up to the door and it's gonna let me out. Man, it's a little hard to believe that there's nobody out here.
I didn't come here to educate an imbecile on royal protocol.
Of course not, Minister.
So I will be about my business here, and you will take yourself out of my sight.
Firm hand was all we needed.
You really let that guy have it.
It worked, didn't it? I'm used to having to throw my weight around. Hard to get anyone to listen to you otherwise.
I'm impressed. I didn't know you had it in you.
There's a lot you don't know about me. Underestimate me at your peril.
The catwalks were booby-trapped.
Galvin and Sidron have gone to great lengths to keep out the uninvited. Well, we're inside. Where do you want to start?
Call that more of a locked door than a booby trap.
Below us. We need to go deeper.
That lift goes down, at least to the changeover station. But we can't use it without DNA authorization from one of the guards.
I have an idea, but we need a few samples of DNA from the miners who work here.
Samples?
Fingerprints, sweat, blood.
Which will trick the machine and get us control of the lift.
That's the theory. Let's test it. Do you think we could just find a way to climb over this?
Possibly. But the console on the lift itself is locked by the same system that locks this ramp.
No shortcuts, then.
I'm sure you can figure something out.
Yeah, I can probably figure something out.
Wow, that is a lot of DNA. I should look for the most concentrated spots.
Out of range.
I can use this.
Ah, 3 fingers and a thumb.
That's a stable DNA sample. It's only partial, but a few more should do it. Not concentrated enough. I should try somewhere else.
Ooh. Go to the food plate.
There's gotta be stable DNA here. Good. That's another I could use. Just need one more sample.
Oh. Not enough.
Almost looks like coffee. Almost. I'll have some Ractigino when I get back to the ship.
Now that is blurry for some reason, but there we go. Oh, it's not scannable.
If they eat in here, it's likely there's some DNA in the room.
Oh, we found some off of the...
Hotari
Wait.
must be tough on the inside, too.
Come on, you made the noise.
Hygiene clearly isn't a priority down here.
Ah, regular console.
Not enough. Gotta keep looking.
This one?
This'll work.
There we go. Right, so why there's saliva on the console? The sudden burst of air from the... Oh, they sneezed on it. Fuel deposits reveal a distinctive pattern of ridges and valleys consistent with fingerprints. Helio residue. So they got greasy fingers. flaky scalp, and they sneezed directly onto the console. Gross.
Perfect. That's enough to make the DNA profile. Time to go back to the lift. You're not coming inside?
There are some things I'd rather not smell.
Yeah. Yeah, the men's barracks probably think you'd rather not smell. I can understand that.
An Illydian console.
All the managerial technology in the mines is Illydian.
So they can keep an eye on their investment.
That's how it is.
Yep.
This facility doesn't seem well maintained. What's in all these containers?
These contain mining supplies, tools, energy packs for machinery.
Shouldn't mining supplies be inside the mines?
It is troubling. If the workers here aren't mining...
It worked. Theory proven.
I'll get it started.
Ready?
I'm a little afraid of what we might find down there.
We'll be okay. I've survived worse than this.
Well, I haven't. But I'll put my faith in you. For now.
Down, down, down we go.
Jara. No, stay back. There's a guard at the station. You'll have to hide.
Where?
Who are you? What are you doing here?
You watch your tone with me. I'm Tylus Altaris, Minister of Diplomatic Affairs. I speak for the Queen herself.
This is a restricted area. No one gains access without the approval of Galvin or Sidron.
Wait.
Jues Gawad Abawencha.
Are you all right?
I don't know.
Are you injured?
No, I thought if I could talk my way through like always, I'd be fine, but... I'm a diplomat. This isn't what I do. I've never even fired a weapon. This is just... It's real now. I wasn't ready for this.
Tylus, you can do this.
I don't see what you're basing that on.
All you've shown me so far is an iron-willed determination to save your people. I don't expect that's changed.
No. No, it hasn't. My authority has never been challenged like that. It meant nothing to him.
So we should assume any Hatari we encounter from here on can't be reasoned with.
Agreed. The only loyalty they have down here is to Galvin and Sidron.
Can you switch over the lift?
The guard should have a scan card that will allow us to operate the switch.
An Illydian disruptor.
I assume the miners took weapons from the Illydians before they fled the mines.
Of course they did.
That explains some of how the uprising happened, but not enough.
Should we take it with us?
No. My phaser is more efficient. Unless you want it.
Oh, no. Weapons aren't my thing.
Phaser's also more compact.
That's some serious armor.
Conditions in the mines are harsh, even for Hotari.
Got it.
That is a big key card.
He's not dead, is he? He's still one of my people, and I didn't come here to take Hotari lives.
My phaser's set to stun. He'll be perfectly fine, just unconscious for a while.
see. We don't have that sort of technology on our weapons.
Good to know.
Yeah, disruptors don't have a stun setting.
The energy readings are emanating from this tunnel. It's sure to be guarded in there. Stay low and follow my lead.
Infiltrate the mine. Alice felt proud after Jar supported the way she handled the guard in the mines on Tau. She was shaken by her encounter with another guard. She was grateful for Jar's encouragement and support. Okay, how did they react to those? Etzler was reminded how much she values her friendship. Okay, that had to change after that reaction. Officer Maris, confused when he seemed concerned for her well-being, yet still sent her to the brig. Well, I mean, she was in a place she wasn't supposed to be, doing stuff she wasn't supposed to be doing. Like, she's a security officer. She's gonna know how that looks, and you gotta. We're doing the do the right thing playthrough as best as we can. You know. Maybe another playthrough will do like the mirror universe, like Russell suggested. For now, we're doing the the good guy mode. But that seems like a pretty solid place to stop for now. I am going to flip this over to my ending screen while I look for somebody to pop over to. See who is on and around. Like Jay is still playing, so we will hop over to his bar and playing Satisfactory. That's a fun one. So we'll pop over to his bar and get things going.